only thing I desire is for some laid-back, fun, wholesome, enjoyable time watching Yuki explore the world. That's it. That's all I want. I don't think that's too much to ask, and I hope that we get more of it. That's that's all I'm really here for. Sorry for the delay, extreme delay, really, on this. It's gonna be like that again next week. Sorry, been sick all past weekend, and then coming week I'm gonna be gone for a little bit, so things happen, you know, and then we'll hopefully by episode 5 be back on like a good schedule again, and we can kind of go from there. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now, so sorry about that. We got childhood friend boy guy, I can't remember his name, and I'm assuming we'll just continuously play into him a little bit more, but maybe not heavy focus too much on him. And we'll just kind of go from there and get to see Yuki's relationship develop a little bit more with Itsuomi, and that's all I can really hope for. If you like it all, like and subscribe to me a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Leave any comments for this episode or series. Let's go on with episode 3. Nice. Did he ask you, or you're just like going for it? Doesn't really matter. Ah. Nice.
りんちゃんと海ドアの絵描くの難しい。右手がこうだから。
Yeah, I never really thought about how difficult that would be. That like actually showing him. What if you just set aside lessons? Sneak up on her. Listen, I don't know if I'd ever personally have like the energy or drive to go out of my way and like learn that or another language or anything. But like, if somebody like Yuki came along, I might do it. Someone's like in a someone, yeah, that's usually it. Rocket Robin. The squad pulled back up. Yeah, she's getting better. We know the drill already. Ah.
何その音。
Ah.
授業中も時々ね。
Nothing.
本当の音は聞いたことないけど。
おい、ごめんね、いつがズカズカ聞いて。
Well, that's alright.
片付けとけ。
うい。
I don't think it's rude to ask questions.
コミュニケーション取るからな。
そういうとこありますよね、いつおみさん。興味？好奇心？どっちでもいいし。
Yeah. He's not trying to ignore you. Oh.
さあ、でもいつはちょっと特別だと思うよ。
Yes. Oh. Oh my god.
びっしり書くの大変だったでしょう。
この絵かわいい。頑張ったね、ユキ。
Look at her. She's loving this.
いい。
あ、いつおみさんの指、長い。
お、ラオスの土産並みに赤いな。
あれ？
ありがとう。まあ見るかはわからんけど。
Oh.
この絵じゃわからん。
Wow.
直接教えて。
There you go. There you go.
ユキがよく使う手話は何？
She put in all that effort though.
かわいい。
何もかも包み込んでくれるような手話をする。
Oh, my guy? My guy?
あ、急にそういうのびっくりするんだって。
ごめん。
Just learn that.
心臓ドクドクしてる。聞こえてないかな。ここにあなたに恋してる人がいるよ。
イエーイ。
Yo.
来ちゃった。
お前ら何件目だよ。
まだ2件目。
You're the one who cuts the hair. Oh.
ごめん、驚いたでしょ。わ、この人綺麗。
Yeah.
髪ツヤツヤ。
あれ？お姉ちゃんかわいいね。髪、体験したくない？
ね この人すっごい上手な美容師さんなんだよ。
褒めすぎだって
どうしよう。なんて言ってるのか全然わからない。
そう
Take the
だな
card.
ショートも良さげだし
I agree.
カラー変えてみるとかはどう？ちょっとハイライト入れるとか
シンこっち来い。エマも。
はーい。
ごめんユキ。
あいつらいつの高校
Alright.
の同級生なんだよ。あのサングラスの方は酒入ってないとめっちゃクールなんだけどね。
お酒の力ってすごい
Yeah.
な。ねえ、いつくん、しばらくこっちにいる？
なんで？
知りたいんだもん。なんでいつくん？
Poor Yuki. Every time she comes here, it's always something.
なんか酔っ払ってるにしても、
Yeah.
いつおみさんを見る目を。またくっついてる。
Support, bro. She can't stand.
ああ、エマちゃん。あの二人は付き合ってないよ。友達。
Cool.
多分この先付き合うこともないと思うけど。
なんでですか？
これ以上は俺からは喋れないんだよ。
Yeah. They've been friends for a while. Is it similar to your situation with the other guy?
来る気だと思うからよろしくね。
今日ワインオープナーどこやった？
ああ、今行くわ。
She doesn't probably need to be drinking anymore, but alright.
帰り気をつけて。
What a lad. Look at the smile. I don't know how you can look at that and that just melt, dude.
うまくいくよ。もっと頑張んなきゃ。
I think we can't just ignore Rin's efforts either. While they weren't the primary focus to that whole scene, she wasn't shaking like crazy, you know?
いつの間にか過ぎてしまったと思う。私も頑張る。頑張りたい。
Find someone in a situation that makes you want to push harder. I say it like every episode, I feel like, but they do a really good job at nailing the different pacing with a lot of these scenes.
あれから4日。いつおみさんと連絡取り合ってないし、会ってもいない。また海外にいるのかな？
Should probably ask him if he wants to learn sign language. Meet up and start teaching. Are you interested?
送っちゃった。大丈夫だったかな？
It's just funny that she actually has to do it
返
that
事
way.
早い。
Going out again, Yugi?
出かけるの？
Yes. Why else would she putting her stuff on?
門限までには帰って。
初めてだ。
No, no.
おい、
ティッシュ？なんで？
どこ行くんだよこんな時間に。
おーしくん？
Let her do her thing. Yeah.
じゃあね。
I'm in a rush.
ティッシュ何個持ってるの？
まさか今から誰かと会うわけ？
Yes.
そうだけど。
None of your business.
男じゃねえよな。
It is. Shut up.
は？そいつこん
Look at
な
her.
時間から呼び出あの銀髪の男か。二人で会うのはやめとけよ。お前多分それ遊ばれてるから。
遊ぶとか。そんな言
Yeah.
い方しないで。
Don't just assume other people's
So
intentions,
bizarre,
brother.
酔ってるだけだ。俺優しいって。
もう
I think you're doing that with how, great of a person you are for trying to protect her. Yeah, the more we see, bro, I don't want to jump to conclusions too early, but I'm going to jump to conclusions and say I just don't like him or his character to begin with. Like, I understand where he's coming from, but it's like, I don't fucks with it. Just gonna sit there. You acknowledge each other. Will he notice you when he comes back? Yeah? No? Oh yeah? Okay.
飲んだら？あ、金はいいから。ユキ、10円持ってね。俺も買いたい。
That's sweet though. Worried about himself first.
これいる？いらない？確か10円くらい。日本じゃ換金できんけど。
But it's something that she's never seen. Perfect.
かだろう。
Ask. There you go.
他のも見たい？見たくない？
Cool. Currency. Perfect. And that sets up opportunity for future. We love it.
ああ。
説明めんどくさいんだこの人。
Oh, nice.
かわいいな。
その手話この前教えたやつ。かわいいかわいいなどです。
へえ。他にもあんの？
それはなんかこれはいつも
The thing you always do.
今までの自分の世界がひっくり返った気がした。昔
I
海
get
外に住んで
that.
て自然と言語やカルチャーに興味を持って自分を突き動かすものがそれになってて遠くにばっか目を向けてたけどこんな近くにもいたんだなって。
She has no clue what you just said. Yeah.
何か言ってた？
俺と仲良くなりたいの？
Much more.
手話は？
もっと
Just keep climbing.
もっともっともっと
As high as I can go. It's alright.
わかったわかった。
この手を握っているのにいつおみさんの手のひらの上にいるみたいで余裕を見せられると余計にドキドキしてしまう。
Oh.
なんで
Du bist süß.
I'm gonna need a translation.
人の反応で遊んでるでもいい笑ってるならいつおみさんの指先は今も絶対に離せない強さで握ってくれている。
I like how much she gets out of just seeing or feeling with fingers specifically.
それ雪の手話？俺も雪は好き。
自分のことじゃないって分かってるのに。
好きの手話は？こうか。いつか使うわ。
Slow down, buddy.
いや、
I mean, just like something I
旅が
like.
好きとかで。
Jump into it. Alright. Slow down. God, I love her. Be careful.
歩行者側
You almost got hit by a fucking car the other time.
手のひらの上で転がされたりもするのに今は守られている感じがする。みんないつおみさんのこと好き。
It's crazy. You let her be a little bit free, but you can still kind of keep her like that. Unlike other guy. Pay attention.
彼女いない。エマは友達。
Let me make that very
で
clear.
もあの人はいつおみさんの
大学で仲良さげに手話してたやつ。
それって
He's just a
あの時い
friend.
つおみさん見
Same
てたんだ。
situation. Yep.
それいつ？
Years ago.
ロッキンロビンは月曜休み。
On Monday?
それもしかして約束？
Together. Together. There you go. She's got such fun reactions to things.
帰るか。いつから？
さっきお酒買ってきた。いつくん、止めて。
Hmm.
止めてって意味わかるでしょ。
Unfortunately.
いつくん何飲
God,
む？
bro's really living the life.
その辺のやつ適当に使っていいから。合鍵は玄関。シンに渡すなよ。
待って
こんなことすんな。
いつくんだからしたんじゃ。
エマ。あんまうちの前で泣くな。近所迷惑。
まあ普通他人は実家に
Who just leaves their home and leaves their alone?
飲んだらいつくんのバカシュアノート何これ
I'm kind of annoyed with how cute this is. Okay, kind of bothers me. It's like too much, you know? It's like the author knew what they were doing. It was like, we're gonna put this on like 15, you know? We're gonna ramp everything just up too much. I don't know why I like it. Like, why you getting me so attached to characters right at the beginning? Like, that's so unnecessary. We don't need that. If we're being honest, you know? Let me slowly build into them. Why you gotta do it right away? Give me a little bit of time. So unfair. Fantastic episode. I mean, it's not. I feel like it's gonna be like that every time. If I'm being honest, I feel like every episode I keep coming out and I'm just like, oh, this is great for whatever reasons. I'm happy we got tons more focus between our main two here. Different from the last episode and even the first one. While we did get some specifically down the back end, a lot of it was like friendship and stuff with Ren and everything in the first one, and then the last one was childhood friend stuff, like all that mixed in. So it was nice to see like big focus between our main two here, which I really appreciated. So I've probably enjoyed this like the most out of all the episodes, which I think is wonderful. Somi learns a lot of new sign language. He's great with that. I'm happy to see him taking that initiative and actually going out of his way and properly trying to learn and asking to be taught and asking questions and trying to learn more things about Yuki the way that she's kind of always been. It's nice to see he also has things that he keeps close to himself, such as, you know, things that he doesn't necessarily want to tell outwardly or tell her or anybody until he feels a little bit more comfortable and is closer with people, right? Like, it's great that we can kind of build up things like that within these characters, and we do a good job at kind of building up a lot of the side characters too, while not even making them a primary focus throughout most of this, which I think is excellent, with Rin no longer shaking and being a complete mess when she goes to talk to Buddy, and they're on pretty good terms now, so I like that. Things are going well over there, and, you know, I like seeing our side characters at least get a little bit into that. I mean, maybe at a certain point you develop the main ones a little bit, and then you can start really focusing on some side ones a bit. Things can usually go well, and I always like that when we have large casts of people that we can kind of build up and play into them and their relationships a little bit more. We end up meeting the guy who is the hairstylist, right? He comes in, is drunk with Emma, and she is his other friend that basically we know from high school, or he told me does at least. I think he knows both of them, if I'm correct. And they're just out there bar hopping, doing their thing, you know, just passing some time. I do love how Buddy had like a business card and everything. And he was just like marketing himself while he was out the whole time. I think that's great. Emma's an interesting one. I don't know how much I'm gonna have to feel or say, but she's definitely interesting. She makes her intentions and feelings obvious. She's very much out there. I wonder if the amount of drinking and her, you know, excuses for that is like there's much reason behind it, or if it's literally she's just trying to have fun. I mean, it could be either. It doesn't really matter. But I do wonder if like her going out and kind of getting all fucked up is used as like an excuse that she can kind of play off and cling on to him a little bit more. She can come to him like when she's in situations like this and she's like, I need to stay the night somewhere because I can't go back. I'm not gonna be able to make it back, you know, and then I don't know, like if we're going to use all of those things. So she's just trying to like find a way to have more of an in to get closer to this person who doesn't necessarily want to get closer to her. There might be more of a history behind it, right? There may have been something at some point that no longer is there, and he's kind of realized that's not what he wants or something, or maybe he was interested and she wasn't at one point, and now he's kind of past that, but she's back to it. Like, we don't know the dynamics of it. Maybe there just was nothing in it, or maybe it's always been kind of her being interested in him, just not. Like, there's plenty of ways that we can kind of play into the way that their relationship is. But regardless of what's happened in the past or what it really is, if we look at it now, he's not at that point and he's not too interested in her and he doesn't really want to kind of be involved, and she doesn't really want to accept that, it seems like. And I think learning about Yuki might help that. It could be bad and it could cause like retaliation in some sort of way. And it doesn't have to be like intentionally towards like an attack at Yuki in any sort of way. It could just be towards like Itsuomi, or it could be her just wanting to try harder, or her like changing the way she is. Like it could result in a variety of different things. But I think learning, especially the sequence at the end and her actually looking and seeing the book and then starting to question like why he's learning that, or, you know, where exactly he got this notebook from or who wrote in all that, right? Like, and starting to pick up on some of that stuff, I think could go a good way. We could write that in a good way, where she needs to actually see that it's not that he's just not interested in people or just not interested in her or whatever it is. It's just like, well, it is that he's not interested in her and there's somebody else that he's more so in, right? And there's almost nothing that she can do at that point, and maybe she can come to terms and kind of accept that within herself or whatever, right? We can play into it a lot, but we also could just go in like a bad way and kind of make her out to be like kind of rude or evil in a way that we don't like. And it could just play like a parallel on each side, somebody who is kind of overly attached in a way to somebody else, right? Itsuomi with Emma, and then Yuki and her friend, right? And it could just easily be like the attachment that each of them kind of have, while not standing a chance but having deep care and like feelings and stuff for this person. And while each of them, of our main two characters, do care deeply for the person that is kind of attached to them, they don't care enough at that point that they see them in like any sort of like romantic sort of sense. And that's maybe a way that they just kind of want to play into it, is making it like that. I mean, we saw how quick Itsuomi was to like kind of switch off the topic once we start talking about Yuki's friend, you know, how he's kind of always been his entire life, or like, you know, how all that stuff kind of went down, and he seemed like he didn't really want to hear it. And it could just be, I don't want to hear you talk about another guy, but it also could just be it's a similar enough situation to me in some sort of way, or I feel like some similarity in that sort of way, and I don't really enjoy talking or thinking about how that stuff's kind of been with, say, Emma or somebody else that he's had experiences with before, and he kind of just wants to leave that in the past, and he'd rather not have to learn about something like that and just kind of start with what you know about this person now and go forward from there. I don't know. There's lots of different ways they can go into it, but I think that in the little that we kind of have, we've set up an interesting enough way for them to play into it if they want to add a little bit of spice to it at some point. And if they don't, and they just want to keep it like it as a background kind of thing, and they just want to heavy focus Yuki and Itsuomi, it's perfect. And we can keep doing that. Her getting so overly excited here and wanting to teach him and actually like writing it out in the book, insane that she does this too. My first thought wouldn't have gone like, oh, let's do it this way. It would have just been, hey, let's take some time, you know, once a week or something and hang out, and then I can teach you, and we can do these things, or we can just hang out, and as we kind of going along, you can kind of learn these things. You know, I would easily just do that. But Yuki doesn't seem to latch onto that idea at first. But it is really sweet, her going and taking her time to actually go out of her way and write all this stuff down and create this large book of absolutely everything that dude was going to need to know. And that's a ton of effort. And you don't want to just let that go to waste. So it kind of hurts, you know, breaks the heart a little bit when he was like, I'm not going to do all this. Even though he still did want to learn, right? He just wanted to learn it a different way. It's still a little upsetting. I like how the moment she comes in, gives her the board and everything, she can write on this, like, so that we can communicate no problem. Like, I really enjoy that. Allow her to feel like, you know, we don't have to go through and explain it every single time. It is a little bit different, you know, because of course she has to act different in those situations because she can't verbalize herself the same way. But I feel like it's a good compromise and a good way of just him kind of, you know, trying to make sure that she's as comfortable as possible, like as quickly as possible, in a way, without having to bring too much attention to it. This scene's kind of it's funny but sad, I guess, her just trying to get his attention and not really having a way to do so. I guess it's similar in a way if anybody's trying to get her attention, right? Not going to be able to, in a way, like can't really call out or anything because it's not going to matter. So it realistically works both ways. Gives him balls. She goes way into detail on all these, like writes everything. That's insane, dude. I like this, just us learning a little bit more. Her, we get a lot of different good faces and everything from her, and him relating this back to the gift that he gave her and her turning so red. I love that. Learning the different meanings of like cute and everything, but he's still handsy. It's gonna be a constant theme. I probably just gotta let it go. I probably just can't talk about it too much. Is it a little uncomfortable at moments? moments, yes, but I'm assuming at a certain point, you know, they're close enough, and she doesn't seem to mind it literally in the slightest. And maybe she's okay with that, you know, because it makes her feel a little bit more normalized, because other people are kind of on the fence, or like with her, right? They're a little bit scared and hesitant when it comes to these certain things. So the fact that he's so like willing to just kind of do these things is good, I guess. I don't really know. I like this too. She's like, it's okay if you do that. Also, Rin being like, oh, apparently she gets like startled as if like she didn't know before, and we had to learn that all last episode. Reintroduced to these two characters. They're both, the designs of most of the characters in this are great. They're all so good. I love him handing out the business card and everything, and then also talking about how like good Yuki would look if she actually got like a different hairstyle and we did something with that. I would love to see that. We go down like a little arc at some point and we do cut her hair and make it short, or we do whatever. I feel like that would be really fun. At this point, Yuki starts getting a little bit jealous again, of course, when she sees somebody else clinging to him. Every time she comes to this damn place, she sees something she doesn't want to. Which I think it's fun that they do that, but also it's good to note, I think, that Yuki is like experienced in any of this sort of stuff, and probably doesn't have the experience but also social like interactions in this sort of way that she can kind of understand, or maybe not be as like concerned or nervous or jealous or any of these sort of situations without like really overthinking it. And it just makes sense that she would act out like this, or not act out, but just like have these internal thoughts and kind of freeze up and feel this sort of way. I think it just makes plenty of sense. And her, like, to a point that she has to like ask these things and be so concerned about that. I like our friend here actually being like, you gotta ask him that, like that's not something, you know, just for me to tell you their whole situation and stuff like that. I think that's great. We move forward the day a little bit more. I like these scenes, the pacing of them is so excellent. Just seeing the day in the life of Yuki, basically feeding the fish, just going for a stroll, you know, just passing by everything, not much sound going on. It's just us to our inner thoughts that we're kind of having. I love how she literally has to tell him or ask him if he's in Japan. He literally can't just like assume that he is. And then we end up going out, especially later than usual here. So this is something, a new experience entirely for her, when Buddy ends up coming up and getting all angry, of course, because we have to run into her and constantly throwing stuff at her. I love the little faces she makes here. Like, look at that. I don't like him in the slightest. I wonder too if maybe not. I was just thinking if the stop sign here, not the stop sign, but like the red light in a way, is like more of like a reflection of like, buddy, you gotta fucking stop the way that you're acting. I feel like that could be something. But he gets completely angry, of course, and he starts yelling at her basically because she shouldn't be doing this, and she should stay away from this guy because he could be just kind of using her or making fun of her, or, you know, playing around with her because it's a big old joke to him, and that's how people look at her, right? Because she's not normal, she's different, and it's like, fuck you, dude. Just the lack of trust, the wanting to cage her in, the not even knowing anything about the dude and just jumping to conclusions and assumptions about this person and the way that they treat them or feel about somebody else. It's like, damn, dude, you take like a fucking minute of your time to ask about the guy. You can learn like all the stuff that he's trying to learn and do, and you would probably understand like immediately that he's not the type of person that you're painting him out to be, but because you have it so fucking set in your head that he's acting this way, or that every person that kind of comes across her is going to do this, and that she's going to be putting herself in harm's way or be in a bad position, that like she just can't do that and she needs to kind of stay like that. Like, it's I fucking hate him. I hate his mindset. It's so bad. I absolutely hate it. And I love here, and we get it later on, it's not in this moment exactly, but the conversation that we basically have with Somi here, about like, not even the conversation, but just Yuki's inner thoughts about like feeling like almost in a way she's like wrapped around his fingertips, but not like more in a physical way, I guess, just because of the way that they were doing like the promise and everything that they had, but also just in a way that everything that like he kind of like does or wants or whatever, she just kind of like folds, right? Like she down horrendous in these situations, and I think she could kind of acknowledge that, how like no matter what he does, it like all seems like so right in her eyes. But it's just like the idea of somebody who's so willingly just open, right, and allowing you to be open and allow you to kind of experiencing these things and not feel boxed in like the other guy. At the same time, just see how easy it is for her to like have those same sort of feelings, or like feel just good about this other person, right, and want to be in their presence and excited about that, as opposed to somebody else, and why she kind of acts like she does towards him because of the way that he treats her. Like it's so night and day. I love him getting the drink here too, for her specifically, and then being like, if you got any extra money, I kind of want to get something. Which I think is great. The other currency as well, and having that conversation about, you know, the different ones that he has, and her having this, and it's something that she'll never have seen, and she probably would never have that opportunity to see. At least that's how she's always kind of viewed it. So being able to meet somebody who kind of allows her to experience something so different, it's so wonderful. They get to learn so much here and get to teach so many different things. Ends up learning that you can say cute and a bunch of other things by like patting on the head and the way that he kind of does things. Also him going on like the whole dialogue about, you know, how he feels or the way he feels about like a bunch of different things, and her not being able to even pick up on any of it because she wasn't actually looking at him or making the eye contact that she's brought attention to earlier in previous episodes, and even in this one, doesn't actually know anything that he was saying. But it's good because he was willingly doing it because he could vent outwardly to somebody without them actually knowing what he was saying in a way. So it's like a nice way of him getting something off of his chest, which I think is great. I love the representation here, or the visualization here, for trying to say that she wants something like so much more, and like how close like they want them to be and whatever, and her just constantly climbing higher and higher until she can't anymore, which is great. And then him kind of being like, I get it. And doing something so wonderful. Also him just like putting her in this situation, just like seeing the reaction out of her, and then her just being like, well, I guess if it makes him happy, like that's okay. And usually in these situations, like sometimes it's weird, like you put people in weird situations just because you enjoy seeing their reactions, but it's like two people who very clearly can understand like how either they feel or how the other person feels about them, like can kind of figure that out pretty easy. It makes it not weird, right? The way that he does these things, and it works perfectly. She's so happy with that. I love how he asks about like love, and then she talks about the snow and everything like that too, and how she wants to say it, and then how he's like, oh, I love that whole like misunderstanding that she kind of had in a way. It was a really cute way of her kind of reacting to it. Him taking note from the first time that they were together and making sure that she doesn't get hit by the fucking car. We have a conversation a little bit on backstory between Emma and our other friend, and then we make our promise, which is great for us to hang out once again. As Buddy comes home, we unfortunately run into Emma here, which is not exactly what he wants, and you can immediately see somebody who seems so kind and so great, you know, is just in these situations. He's still being kind, but at the same time, just the tone and everything of him is a little bit different, right? The way that he's acting towards her, and he's a very strong man here. He's able to just kind of throw her away. I love too how he just like leaves like his own place, just leaves her in his home. Which is great. And then she finds the sign language guide, which will go a little bit into, I guess, the way that we're going to develop her, and also the recognition of the relationship, I guess, that's kind of building up there. And we're going to have to see how all of that kind of unfolds. Emma is down horrendous, but I'm excited to see. It's all for me. Fantastic once again, as always. And I'm just thrilled to see where we kind of go from here. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked it, I'll like and subscribe to me on to me. Feel free to check out the other Risen channel in the comments for this better series. I'll be back for episode 4 next week. I'm going to be late. Like I said, I probably won't be able to do it until Monday, maybe. Monday or Tuesday. So it probably won't be up until Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But hopefully we can get back on schedule the week after. You guys have a good one, though. See ya.